Hi guys, so in this video we shall learn subtraction operators on pointers. Okay, so this is the main concern in this video. Okay, consider this array in which I have allocated 5 elements. You can see element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, total 5 elements, and this is how the addresses are there. Now, before going to the subtraction operation, I would like to recall the addition operation. Since in the previous video I have taken example of character, in this I have taken the example as an integer. Okay. Now we know that if I want to access this element, then I need to give this address, right? We knew that if I give 36, then it will fetch 36, 37, 38, 39, all the values present in that memory address, and we can take the values and do some calculations. We can get the value 1. If I want to access this element, then I have to give the address like 40, then 40, 41, 42, 43. We have to take all the values and we have to do some calculation on that. We'll get the value 2. So what my point is, if I want to access the first element, I should know this address. If I want to access second element, I should know this address. Okay, now here comes the trick part. See, if I say that there is an integer pointer in which I'm storing the address of this a of 0, which means in pointer p the value is 36, which means the address value, right? Now p contains 36. If I dereference this value, I'll get the element as 1. Okay. Now what happens if I increment this pointer? If I increment this pointer, it should point to 40, right? Then I'll get the element as 2. Okay, the second value which is present in the array is 2, since so that the element we got is 2. You can see here the difference is 4, right? Since it is an integer, in integer we knew that each element is stored in form of 4 bytes, right? In order to access the second element, it should add plus 4 to the address, right? You can see here 36 plus 4 is 40, 40 plus 4 is 44, 44 plus 4 is 48. You can see this pattern, right? So the point I want to highlight is, whenever you increment a pointer in integer type, here since it is an integer type, then you can write something like 36 plus what is the size of this uh, int is 4 into what is the value here, 1. Then if you calculate this value, you will get the answer as 40. If I say pointer plus 2, then you can see 36 plus 4 into 2, okay, which means 36 plus 8, which refers to 44. You can check here. Okay, so whenever we add something, we add 1, 2, 3, internally this happens. Okay, so that we can traverse element by element. Okay, we don't care what is this address or this address or this address. Now the same logic applies to subtraction also. P1 equal to P1 minus 1. So what is the value present in P1 is 52. If I subtract 52 minus 51, since in addition if we add 1 to it, it is incremented. For in subtraction, if you subtract 1 from it, the value should be decremented by 4. Then P1 consists of 48. So first we can fetch the element, this element. Now by decrementing by 1, we can fetch this element. Okay, so this is how it works. In for example, if I say that P1 equal to P1 minus n, no matter what you put a number here, it should be in this range only. If it is in this range, then we can assure that we know what will be the outcome. Okay, we can predict the value. If it is beyond this range, for example, if I say like P1 minus 50, okay, it is beyond this range, so we can see here undefined behavior, because we know only this array. Beyond this we don't know, right? So we have to make sure that whatever you subtract the value, it should be in this range only. You can see here I have an array A5, okay, in which I have stored these elements, and here what I'm doing is, in pointer 1 I stored the address of the last element, right? This is the last element, A4 element, and I'm subtracting one from each. I'm subtracting the values like 1, 2, 3, and we'll see whether we can fetch the value or not. You can see here we got the values as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is what we expect, right? Since we have stored these elements in the array A. What happens if I say that if I change here? Suppose if I make here 10, then what can I expect? See, we got the values here. See, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, up to here we can expect the value, okay? But beyond that it is an undefined behavior, right? So we are not interested in that case, right? We are only interested from what happens from 5 to 1 only, right? So by this we can conclude that here in subtraction operator, if I subtract an integer, it is a valid statement, and you can fetch the values also if it is in between the range, okay? Now if I say that I have a pointer p1, okay, in which I can store the address of A4 element. I have a pointer 2 in which I can store the address of this A0 element, okay, address 36. What happens if I say p1 minus p2? P1 and p2 are both integer pointers, okay? Now if I say that p1 minus p2, I can say 552 minus 36. If I subtract these values, I'll get a 16. So what this 16 represents, see, 16 represents, you can see here 36 here, 52 here, in between there are 16 bytes are there, right? But internally what happens is, since integer occupies 4 bytes, each element consists of 4 bytes, then 16 by 4, 4. So you can say that from 52 to 36 there are 4 bytes apart from each other, which means you can say like it's distance, right? 4 bytes of distance from each other. So this is what 4 represents. Whenever you do p1 minus p2, you will get the value as 4 because it's an integer type. If it's in character type, then you can see the value as 16, okay? Now we got the value as 4. If I want to know the how many elements are there, just add 1 to it, you'll get 5 elements, okay? We have allocated memory in this region only. We can talk only in this region. If I add 2 pointers, it is point to some unknown location, which is makes no sense, right? But if we subtract these values, we can make sure that these are offset, or you can say that these are how much distance from each other, so that we can perform, or we can use this logic in our code to implement some functionalities, okay? For example, if I say that I want to know the elements, how many elements are there, I can do this operation. I can know the how many elements are there, right? P1 minus p2 is an legal operation, okay? Now we'll see with an example. You can see here in pointer 1 I stored the last addresses of this array. In the pointer 2 I stored the first element address of the array. If I subtract these two, I got the value 4, which means there are 4 bytes apart from each other, which I have shown in the previous slide. I add 1 to it, I can know how many elements are there. Total is 5, right? Now what happens if I subtract a pointer from pointer which are two different arrays? For example, see, if there is an array A5 in which I am taking this address, for example, in pointer ptr1 I am taking the address 48. In ptr2 I am taking the address of this array, okay? In this array I am taking the address, for example, take b2. If I take b2, I'll get 112, right? 112. If I subtract these, it doesn't make any sense, right? See, for example, if I say that 112 48, we get 64. It doesn't make any sense, right? Since this is in some other region, this is in some other region, it gives the difference between these, how much distance apart from each other, right? So I can say that if we need to do the pointer minus pointer operation, then the first case should be, it should be of the same array, okay? It should be of same array. And second point, it should be same type also. For example, if I take an integer pointer and character pointer subtract, it doesn't make any sense, right? Again, both are should be same type and same array, okay? Pointer one in which I have the address of A4, is a pointer in which have address of b0, and you subtract, it makes the answer is 7, right? So it doesn't make any sense, okay, because it is different arrays and they're how much distant apart from each other. Practically doesn't have any use, okay, practically it doesn't have any use. What we have learned in this subtraction is, in subtraction operators, if I subtract n from it, okay, where n ranges any value, we have to make sure that it should be in this range only, okay, whatever the value, if I subtract, I should get the values in this range only. If the value is, if I subtract some value, if it is beyond the range, then we can see the unpredictable behavior, okay. And the next case is, if I subtract pointer from pointer of same type and same array within this range, then it is also legal, right? This is also legal, this is also legal, and we can expect the output. But what happens if I say this pointer minus pointer of different arrays, then that it is an unpredictable behavior, okay. If I say that pointer 1 is an integer pointer and pointer 2 is in character pointer, it also doesn't make any sense, okay. So if we need to do the subtraction operator, make sure that these two are the only cases, okay.